Johnny like a melody, 3x3 legend in the house, and he's solving like na 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 every day, trying to be better than he hang. Johnny like a melody, 3x3 legend in the house, and he's solving like na 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 every day, trying to be better than he hang. Remember the first solve of worlds and it looked like he would win, thinking everything's fine, but the very next time he hang took the dub again. Who would have ever knew that he would be on top of the game? He's real worldwide, that's how we do, and everybody knows his name. ZB, like nobody else knows. ZB, got the TPS. ZB, got the total control. Know that he's the best. Johnny like a melody, 3x3 legend in the house, and he's solving like na 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 every day, trying to be better than he hang. Johnny like a melody, 3x3 legend in the house, and he's solving like na 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 every day, trying to be better than he hang. Johnny like a melody, 3x3 legend in the house, and he's solving like na 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 every day, trying to be better than he hang.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to SpeedCubing TV's YouTube channel. We're here today on March 11th, 2026 for the press conference ahead of PSL Oregon, marking the first competition in the PSL for Season 2. I'm Michael Rosencrans. I'll be your moderator for tonight. Pleased to be joined also by Owen Stotts. You know him as StuCube on YouTube. And I'm also pleased to be joined by Manu Singhal. You know him from +3 here on SpeedCubing TV, and you also know him from Cubers Live. Great to have you both along, and we're also pleased to be joined by two of our competitors in PSL Oregon, Dylan Miller and Asher Kim Majerick. Great to have you both on, and this should be an exciting competition coming up. We're about 3 days away as we're looking at it right now, coming up on Saturday, and I'm just curious, going into this competition, love to hear your thoughts, going right into it, and how you're excited to start Season 2.
Yeah, I guess I'll start. I haven't really done many solves, if I'm being honest. I'm excited for the first comp of the new season, though. I think Oregon's a lovely place. I haven't really been since Nats in Portland. So, it'll be a fun little time. There's also WCA comp tied to this. So I'm just excited to go in there, try to do better. I've been on a rough stretch, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm actually really looking forward to this. It'll be my first PSL competition ever, so that'll be really exciting. I've been watching all the matches, so it'll be exciting to actually do it. It'll also be good to get back to WCA competitions. My last one was in October, and I have been practicing a bit, so I'm really looking forward to this one. And of course, it's in my home state, so being away for college in Canada, it's nice to be back home. Even if it's not my exact home, it's still the home state for the weekend.
No doubt, lots of Oregonians are participating in this competition, so should be a fun one coming up in 3 days. And as of now, I'll open it up to the media for some questions, if any of you would like to get started. Owen, Manu?
Yeah, Asher, just kind of bouncing off what you just mentioned there with your last comp obviously being all the way back in October. Do you ever feel kind of a difference in coming back after such a long time versus kind of already being in the groove of competition per se? Is there any difference in your mindset or how you feel about competing in general?
Definitely. I would say it works both ways. I would say for solves, I would just naturally more nervous because I'm definitely out of the groove. So I haven't been going to competitions as much. So just naturally starting off, I'm definitely a bit more nervous. But going into the competition, I'm always more excited because of the long gap. It gets me excited for actually going to competition again, which actually sometimes naturally makes my solves better just because I'm already in such a good mood just being at the competition.
Yeah, I think I'll follow up on that. I mean, yes, what kind of prep has been kind of cooking in the background, so to speak? You mentioned, yeah, October was your last official competition. I'm sure you've been warming up a little bit for this one as well. So yeah, take us behind the scenes a little bit as to what you've been doing to get back into the groove.
It's actually like pretty simple. I've just been doing a lot of solves recently. I finished most of my like midterms a few weeks ago. So these past few weeks, I've just been grinding a lot of solves, trying to like work on some last layer algorithms, some ZB practice. But for the most part, it's just been a lot of like quiet, dedicated solves. Try to get as focused as possible. That's one thing I'm always trying to work on is focus with solves. So recently just been mainly solves, mainly 3x3, I would say recently. But there have been a couple other events I've been practicing.
Dylan, I'll jump to you really quickly. You know, you finished runner-up here at PSL Michigan coming back in this previous PSL competition. Does that sort of put you at more of a pressure situation? And knowing that you've gone to every PSL competition so far, I mean, with this one, is it pretty much the same mindset for you, or you're just trying to get over that hump that you've been having with the rough mental stretch?
I would say I'm treating this one like same as all the other ones, right? I didn't have my best performance against Greiser. I didn't put myself in a good position to really solve well that day. So I'm trying to, do the right things leading up to the comp, get my 8 hours sleep, actually warm up at the competition instead of goofing off. Yeah, just actually give it a fair effort as much as I can. And then hopefully I'll do better at this comp and the WCA comp included.
Yeah, Dylan, you're going to be going into the new season, you're going to be competing in, I think, 4 or 5 of these PSLs in the season alone, which is probably more than any competitor. What do you think that you're most looking forward to, I guess, out of all of those competitions?
Man, like a specific location? Probably I haven't been to Canada since NAC 22. There's going to be a good comp there. I think Kyle and Morgan should be attending. So that'll be fun. Good comp in a country that I don't really get to visit. Hopefully get there early enough, try to explore. I mean, I'm really excited for all the PSLs, honestly. Talking to people behind the scenes, I think we're going to have a really good lineup of really high-level competitors that maybe you haven't seen before. So, I think every match, every competition is going to be great, and I'm excited to just, put on as good of a show as I can for the league at every comp I attend.
So I'll jump in now with a bit of a dual question. So it's kind of going to be a question for both of you. It's going to be non-trivial travel, because Dilly, you're here in Southern California. You got to get your way up to Southern Oregon. Asher, you got to come back to the States. So after like such a long travel that you have to do to get to PSL, I guess like how do you like give yourself time to warm up properly? Like talk us through like kind of like your routines and stuff like that, so you're absolutely ready to go when it comes match time.
Dylan, you want to
go? Yeah. I mean, my travel is like nothing, dude. It's like 3 hours. Like maybe I'll practice on like at the airport while I'm waiting. And then, like I said, just try to get a good night's sleep. Thank goodness it's in the same time zone, because Michigan actually really did mess me up because I lost like 3 hours of sleep going there. So yeah, same time zone is a huge buff. And I don't know. I'll just practice at the airport. That's like the only time I keep in public. And then, I get in at 3, and then I'll probably just like not really practice much the night before. And then there's a bunch of time during the day on Saturday. So try to just get prepped for that.
I would say for me, like, not to be unoriginal, but I'm going to rehash a lot of what Dylan said. Like, I'll definitely be cubing at the airport. I always cube at airports. Like he said, it's the only place in public I'll really cube. And then I get in like pretty early in the day. So I think I'll already be cubing. So I'll probably just try to keep that momentum up, like when I get situated, and then probably like not cube for most of the night, just to like give me a little bit of a break, and then just like ease, try to chill out. And then I feel like morning of the comp, all I need to do is really just like make sure my hands are warm and just make sure I'm like energized. and like a little bit of cubing in the morning helps.
No doubt. Asher, you're going into your first PSL competition. Good enough that's in your home state, and you're going up against Dylan, who's already won a PSL title back in Seattle in the first season of PSL. And you obviously already know how Dylan solves, very, very world class. And what do you bring to this? What do you bring? You mentioned that you're practicing look ahead and last layer in ZB, but what else do you bring that gives you an edge in this competition?
I think I bring just really focused solves. I think I don't get thrown off very easily, and I try to just like keep my mind empty when I'm solving. So I feel like I bring like really focused solves. I'm not the most consistent competitor, I'll be honest, but I feel like even when I'm not that consistent, I'm still focused. It's just sometimes personal mistakes.
Yeah,
I'll jump
Asher,
in now.
Compared to, oh, you're good. Yeah, go ahead, Manu.
Okay. I'll jump in because it's a bit of a follow up off of that. I want to ask Asher because I think this is your first time competing in like some sort of like head to head format like this, or at least some sort of singles based format. Of course, we have Monkey League and PSL, and then now the WCA has a head to head format as well. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on like what you expect to be different, kind of going into that, as opposed to your typical average of 5 rounds.
I think like the format is definitely different in the sense that just like you're doing one solve at a time. So just naturally it's going to be a bit different, but that's also kind of how you compete, is like one solve at a time. I feel like with this one though, like I'll be able to like be more focused. I feel like sometimes in the waiting area, it really throws me off when like I'm waiting for a long period of time. So I feel like in that aspect, this sense of competition, like I won't be waiting as long. It'll be more of like an in-demand solve. So I'll already be in the groove of doing solves, and I'll make sure to like focus in the waiting area. So I feel like in that sense, it differs from a regular competition. Does that really answer your question?
Yeah, I think that gets to what I was going for.
Yeah, you've competed in a couple of head-to-head finals on some pretty big stages before, although they're not, like a PSL alternating format. I was wondering in particular about Worlds 2023 because you did have quite a decent performance in that round in particular. I'm kind of wondering, I guess, what your mindset going into that was, and if it is kind of similar to a situation like this.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. My mindset going into that final was I wasn't even expecting to make that final anyways. So I was just naturally in such like a thrilled and good mood that I'd made it, that I kind of went into the final thinking like, like just have fun. Like I knew there was no way I was going to podium. Making it to the final was already like enough for me. So I kind of just went into like a fun mindset. Like I was going up against Luke Garrett, who's a good friend of mine. And in the waiting area, we were kind of just practicing. And I was already just in such a naturally good flowing mood that I kind of just went into it like, we'll have fun with this. We made it. That's the goal. And I think with this competition, it's the same because I'm in just like, again, like the same natural mood of I'm getting back to competitions like WCA, and it'll be my first PSL competition. So I'm already just naturally in that mood of excited to get back. So I'm going into that like PSL with that mindset of just have fun, focus solving. Yourself as a solver. So really just trusting myself and going to like a focused, fun mindset, I think is really helping.
This could be a question for both of you, but a lot of this is just mental game. It's not only you against another cuber, it's you against yourself mentally. So, I mean, again, for those who might be just joining us, what would be, walk us through your mental preparation process, what goes on before a solve, because some can be very quick and others can be very methodical.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like y'all have probably seen it. I take a decent amount of time to get ready. For me, I just really want to control my breathing, physically make sure I'm good. If I review whatever I did wrong in a previous solve, if I made a big mistake, just like focus on being solid. And then, if I do those things, I think I'll get a better result.
I feel like my mental preparation for solves is mainly I just try to clear my mind as much as possible and solely think about this solve, like wipe out everything else around me that I'm thinking about, just solely focus on this solve. And I also try to take each solve like one at a time. I don't try to think about other solves on the average. I don't try to, like, if I get a bad solve, I try not to let it get me down. If I get a good solve, I try not to let it get to my head too much. I feel like focusing on like each solve one at a time like has really helped me become like more focused with my averages.
All right, I'm gonna jump in now. And you know, let's give Asher a little bit of a break. He's been talking a lot. Dilly, all right. So, you know, we've seen like a bit of a dichotomy between your solving a little bit. Like your solves on the stream yesterday, pretty good. I would say they were a lot better than the solves that we saw in the WCA competition last week. So there's a little bit of a split here. And even though we've kind of gone Super Saiyan now, like, you know, back to the orange hair, how do we channel the, like, what's going well with the good solves that isn't really translating over to the bad solves, and how do you plan to address that for PSL?
Great question. I appreciate that. Let's see what's going wrong with the bad solves. I think sometimes I'm just chopped, dude. I'm just gonna be real. Mistakes everywhere. Like solutions are bad, turning is bad. Like maybe I'm on good pace, but then I just throw at the end. I was reviewing some of my footage from that stream. Like at the start, I was solving pretty good. I think the biggest thing that happens is I get carried away with my turning. Either it leads to like a lot of minor lockups across the whole thing that result in like 0.2 time loss, or it's, you know, big pause because I like didn't look ahead during inspection or something. It's a lot of minor things that I think all kind of stem from my turning. And so for me, I've really focused on turning at a pace that is consistent and controlled and focusing on like my accuracy. I think I found that when I was turning sometimes, like I wasn't turning very linearly. Like I'm like if I have a cube, like I'm not doing a straight line as much as I should be. So I've been focusing on that, making sure my turns are accurate. And then, you know, I've had really good sessions the past few days. Like I said, I looked at my daily stats. You know, I'm known as like a grinder. I didn't do that many solves. I think I didn't do solves for like a week in my CS timer session, which like is very, very rare for me. So yeah, I think the past 2 days I've done like 500 a day, and yeah, they're going better. Got some good results, stuff that I'm happy with. So hoping to translate that.
Yeah, Dylan, going back to Michigan a couple of weeks ago, you referenced it in a recent episode of the Millisecond podcast. You talked about actually not wanting to get the bracket reset against Luke Greiser. What do you think that kind of says about, I guess, your mentality going into this competition, and maybe even a possible upset here in Oregon?
I mean, it's definitely possible. Asher's a really good solver. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like not wanting to reset, I just had a really bad day, you know? Cubing's a big mental game. I was not there mentally for a lot of reasons, and I was not there physically as well for a lot of reasons. Like, you know, I had been sick and I, you know, was jet lagged and got 3 hours of sleep. Like, you know, I'm not going to say these things, but, you know, if you're asking, like, you know, I wasn't putting my best foot forward. And so, yeah, I mean, I think if I put my best foot forward, results might have been different. You know, we'll see next time I go against Greiser, and we'll see, you know, this weekend, if I put myself in a good position, I think I've got a good shot.
I'll jump back in
going
again.
into the.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Manu.
Rosie. It's you, Rosie.
Nope, that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. I was going to ask if there's anyone else in the bracket you guys are kind of looking out for, anyone who you think, you know, could sneak in a couple solves, give a good scare.
Coaching client of mine, Ezra Fish, pretty solid. Think he could take a few, maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked at the rest of the bracket. I'm going to be so real, but
I would definitely say Ezra as well. I know Ezra. He actually, we went to high school together, and I used to see him at a lot of competitions. So he's definitely a very, very fast solver. So I'm definitely expecting some fast solves from him, along with also Will Greninger. He's a very good friend of mine. I've known him a while, and Will's also very, very fast. So Will's also a very, very fast solver to look out for.
No, absolutely. You're talking about 3 of the top cubers in the state of Oregon. I am just want to double check on that really, really quickly. Yeah, you have Asher, you have yourself. You're the fastest cuber in Oregon. Then you have Will Greninger, second fastest, and Ezra Fish, the third fastest. So, I mean, what is this going to mean not only for yourself, but for the 3 of you to hopefully shine bright under the lights of in your home state?
Yeah, I think it's really cool to have all of our first PSL be in our home state of Oregon. So I think that'll be really cool to just represent the state of Oregon, and it'll be cool to just see them and solve against them, because I don't ever usually get to solve against them into a head-to-head format. It's more just like in the same round. So I think in that sense it'll be very like interesting to solve like that. And of course, representing Oregon is great.
Yeah, Dylan, you've now competed in 5 PSLs, which again is the most of any competitor. But how has your kind of, I guess, your preparation evolved and changed as you've gotten more used to that kind of a competitive setting?
Yeah, I mean, I think I stopped taking them as seriously, I guess, as weird as it sounds. Like the first one, it's like first ever kind of competition of this style. And I really wanted to perform well, didn't do great. Second one, obviously, I had a pretty good moment. And then ever since then, I think I like commenting, I haven't put my best foot forward in terms of preparing myself or, giving it the attention it kind of deserves for me to kind of solve well and make it engaging for everybody. So yeah, I'm trying to adjust that going into the new season and, be more intentional with my prep and give it the respect it deserves and, try to do as well as I can.
I'm going to bring it back to Asher now. And this is a bit of a strange question. So your profile / like, your cabinet case of awards actually has like a couple of good moments in there. You formerly held the NAR single for 3x3, which is a massive achievement. And you've also been on a podium before at NAC 2024. But I feel like people still kind of underestimate you. I kind of want to know if that's also what you feel, and if that's the case, if that bothers you at all, or if that kind of empowers you as the underdog, perhaps.
No, I wouldn't say that it bothers me. I don't know if people underestimate me. I get where it comes from. I think a lot of my, like I said before, a lot of my inconsistency can kind of go into that. I think my lack of, naturally going to competitions may just naturally show like less chances of me being able to show like how fast I, actually am. But it doesn't really bother me. I feel like people who like may think to underestimate me, like I think like I understand like where they're coming from in a sense.
Anybody else have any other questions moving into this?
Yeah, I'll do one more, and so this will be my wrap up question for Dilly. So last week we were at a pickleball tournament, which maybe is one of the reasons why you didn't have as many solves last week. And we saw a lot of like pretty high level competitors there, including like the #1 men's and women's players in the world. And we were there for a good long time, and I don't know, I definitely had fun. I kind of want to understand, like, what are some things you took away from watching those guys compete? They're competing at like the highest level of their sport. Also, you're also professional. And what are some kind of lessons you kind of learned from that, and turning those, or at least translating those into your own cubing?
Yeah. Well, we sat courtside, right? And, we were watching from afar, and it was a little hard to tell kind of what was going on the court. And then we get courtside, and it's like, literally after every point, these guys are so gassed. Like it was insane. Like they were so geeked off, like literally opponent hits the net and they're like, let's go, bro. Like they're so hyped and into it. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think in cubing, like if someone after every single point, because it was literally every single point, after every single solve that they did at a competition, if they were like, let's go, like it would be a little corny. I don't think the community really appreciates stuff like that, or any type of like tenacity, I guess, because it's supposed to be like a really wholesome, fun family thing, and it is. But at the same time, it's like people do care, and so yeah, I don't know. Just allowing myself to acknowledge that I care. You get hyped because you're hyped, and you feel sad when you do bad. It is what it is. So yeah, that's kind of where it comes from for me. Of like, I'm a full-time cuber. I mean, I can tell myself I'm a coach and YouTuber as much as I like, because I do a bit of those things too. But, at the same time, I compete. And so I want to be really invested in the competing aspect of it and like really try my best. And you know, it's okay to get fired up a little bit.
Certainly, that emotion is something that we love to see. And wrapping up this with my own wrap-up question here, what can we expect from both of you for PSL Oregon?
Hopefully a good close match, man. I mean, I hope we both solve our best that day, and then
Yeah, I definitely hope we both solve our best. I'm hoping we both get some pretty fast solves. I feel like fast solves from both sides is always super, super fun to watch. Everybody loves some fast solves, even if it's not your own. So I definitely hope we both get some fast solves, along with other competitors such as Ezra and Will.
yes.
Yeah, should be a fun one. Absolutely. Anybody else got any other questions? Seeing a no from Manu. Anything else you got, Owen?
I think I'm good. I think we got a great competition coming up. Some great solvers. We're ready to do their thing, man.
Absolutely, we are. Well, that'll just about wrap up this press conference. Owen, Manu, thank you so much for hopping on tonight. Really great to have you. Dylan, Asher, thank you so much for your time. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you all for watching on YouTube. Stay tuned to the SpeedCubing TV YouTube channel. Saturday, March 14th, PSL Oregon Season 2 of the PSL kicks off in 3 days' time. We can't wait for it. We hope you're excited as we are. Until next time, we'll see you on the other side.